Welcome Yael Eckstein, President of the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. Yael, thank you so much for speaking to us at such a difficult time. Israel is at war. This nation is still in shock after the surprise Hamas killing rampage 11 days ago now. So just to start, your response to the scale of this attack on the festival of Simchat Torah, supposed to be a time of celebration, this year a time of tragedy, targeting of civilians. Your thoughts?
Well, I think what we're seeing now in Israel that every single person is experiencing is holding the space between extreme gratitude and extreme grief. I think all of us are hugging our children and loved ones like we never have before, and we're feeling grief and vulnerability like we've never felt before. What we're seeing for the first time, maybe ever, at least in the 20 years that I've been in the social welfare system, is that the responders have become the victims. And when you see people who are the leaders of holding up their communities suddenly be the ones who are evacuating, are burying loved ones, their homes were hit, they're kidnapped, you see a level of both grief that I think has never been experienced in my lifetime in Israel, but also a level of gratitude that you see who our friends are, both inside of Israel and outside.
We've been talking in studio about the level of grief, the fact that some people are still waiting for word on their loved ones. It really is an unimaginable situation. I understand that 30 million shekels has been raised for affected communities, for military needs. Talk us through those needs right now, the initiatives, what items are being prioritized right now, as you say, for the people who are feeling gratitude and want to give back and want to help people in need right now.
Well, the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews has actually already distributed over $12 million of aid. We're now on the second round of identifying the next round of aid. We, thank God, have volunteers and workers and partners in every single city in Israel. And so from Sunday, we've been distributing food to the bomb shelters. We've been distributing over 1,000 bulletproof vests. We've been whatever is needed on the ground. And oftentimes this closed military situation and location, we've been able to mobilize our soup kitchens to distribute meals. So the first stage was really looking at those emergency basic needs for those who were affected. So we have the head of the Eshkol region, for example, who we've been working with for years, who was kidnapped. So already on Sunday, we sent her messages and it went through, but it went through to Hamas. And so we had to recreate this whole level of first responders together with our partners to make sure that for the past 10 days, people are getting food in their bomb shelter. There's a location where people are going, family, loved ones are going to identify the bodies of their loved ones. And the fellowship has been there 24/7 since last Sunday, including Shabbat, including nights, to provide simple, basic cake and cookies and food and chairs and mattresses and water to these families in mourning. So basically, wherever we've seen a need, we've been immediate to meet it. Now we're looking at the mid and long-term needs, which is no less heartbreaking.
Yael, it is so inspiring to hear the number of volunteers who are getting involved, people who are trying to make a difference, young, old, people just wanting to help out. In studio with me right now is Colonel in the Reserves, Olivier Rafovich. He is hearing your message and he'd like to speak to you. Olivier.
Yeah, good afternoon. I just would like to tell you that I knew your father, and we were in contact 25 years ago during the second Intifada. And I'm pleased to see that you are continuing his mission. And please let me convey to you and to his memory my best wishes for your success for Israel and for what you are doing. Tremendous, important things for Israel. Thank you to you, and thank you to what your dad has done for years.
Yael, would you like to respond to Olivier?
If I could stop the tears from flowing, I'll be happy to. It was after the Second Lebanon War that I remember my father took all of our staff and drove up north because it was the first time that Israeli citizens were in their shelters for days on end, and they didn't have the food, they didn't have the medicine, they didn't have any of the diapers, the formula. And my father said, this is what the Keren Liadidut, the fellowship, is needed for it. And literally people were packing their trunks and driving up north. And he created a system that now, 20 years later, as soon as there's war, we don't need to be packing our trunks. We have our partners on the ground that we're able to mobilize within a matter of hours. So it just, hearing that sentiment from the second Intifada, from the second Lebanon war, and knowing how far we've come, b'zchuto, in his honor and his memory, is just important to remember. Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, the end result reflects the first thought. And my father was dedicated to helping the people of Israel with anything that was needed, with tens of millions of Christians standing behind us around the world. And so it's really this glimmer of hope in the darkness. And thank you so much. We stand behind you and the Israeli army and the first responders with anything that's needed.
We only have a few seconds left, Yael. Just your sense of the resilience, the unity right now. You're talking about people from different communities banding together to try and make a difference. Your understanding of the sentiment on the ground going forward, very briefly, please.
I think I'm going to answer with a prayer. May the unity that we are feeling now, the brotherhood that is just tangible wherever you look, may it continue for many, many, many years without any crisis to bring it together.
Yael Eckstein, President of the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, thank you so much for speaking to us, and thank you so much for your initiatives and for carrying out the chesed, the charity work, and the good work that you are doing. Thank you very much, Yael Eckstein.